Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to Nigeria Now, where we discuss current happenings and events in the country, looking at various sectors and angles. And then, as well, you know the way we do it here on the show, where we open it up for you to be part of it by dropping your comment on Facebook and on YouTube. And then we want to know what you feel regarding some of the events that have been unfolding, as we are coming to the end of the week. So I am Selen Laishitashom. Of course, I'll doing this program together with Rachel Tassi. Good afternoon.
Afternoon, Selen.
And I'm excited. It's Friday.
Yes, it's Friday.
All right, let's go into our discussion for today, where we would love to look at what the federal government is saying regarding the killing of some of our soldiers in Borno State, where we saw that terrorists entered into the army base and then they killed some soldiers there. And the president have actually sent his condolences to the military as well as to their families, and have said that, you know what, there should be a probe into those who are behind this.
Yes.
And you just cannot help but, wrap your head around the fact that what's really happening. I mean, from last year, we saw where some of either we're talking about our army men have been killed, our soldiers particularly, or we're talking about our policemen. And then it cast my mind back to, I remember when terrorists even had the guts to enter the NDAA and then to actually, the NDA rather, to actually, carry out their own operations of what they wanted to do there. And then you'll be expected, I mean, that should be a place where the terrorists should be afraid to actually go to. But here we're seeing that this is what happened, and this happened on Saturday. But then after back and forth, this is when we're seeing that the federal government, the president particularly, said he's even happy with the retaliation even coming from the military men, because they were able to carry out certain operations. And then, I mean, some of the terrorists were afraid, they left, and then some of them were killed as a result of that. But I just cannot help what really is happening. Of course, this is not the first time. It's not peculiar to only Nigeria. We've heard of terrorists carrying out certain attacks on even any uniform or any military security base. But then, what really are we going to do? Because I mean, this should be where we should say twice beaten or once beaten, twice shy, rather. But then we're seeing that this has happened even on checkpoints, and then we've seen it going on and on and on and on and on. And here we're seeing the federal government saying, you know what, there should be a probing regarding the people behind this, and then hoping that they'll be brought to book soon.
So when you hear that there's an attack on a military base or barrack or wherever we have our army personnel staying, you just can't help but ask many questions. There are so many questions going down our minds and running. How is it that they are not safe? Talk more of me, the common man. This is where we can go. But in the end, after all the questions, I think it boils down to two things. One is either there's a sabotage, or two, just a well-planned attack from the terrorist that we are talking about here. So if we're looking at two things, it boils down to them. If it's a sabotage, then we are looking at the fact that the military is seriously compromised for us to be having this series of attacks. It's not the first, and it's probably not going to be the last. And when it happened at first, it sounded new. And how did it happen? The home, where these people are. We're talking about that of Kaduna, and this kind of attack. Where is the home of the military in Nigeria? And then they are being attacked. What is happening? And then the second part is that if it is a well-planned, executed attack from this terrorist group, then you just can't help but wonder, have the terrorists become way better than the Nigerian army? Have they become better than the military? Either way, it shows incompetence on the side of the military. Whether it's a sabotage or a well-planned attack, the fingers are all going to point back at the military. How is your system so corrupt that your soldiers are killed in their base? And then secondly, how can the terrorists carry out an attack and be so successful against the Nigerian army? Either way, it's still back to what is our military doing. There's no way we can sit down and give credit to the terrorists and say, well, it's a well-planned attack, the terrorists are good. No, that's a slap to the face. And either way, what are you doing that you're allowing your soldiers? Because how is a base built? There are so many parameters of security, so many checkpoints. And if for these people to be able to infiltrate all of it and pass them one after the other, who however this place is structured, it shows that it's either we don't have armies, soldiers actively guarding where they stay, or somebody let them and gave them higher hand of information that is the sabotage, or having spies in the military posing to be soldiers, yet giving away their fellow soldiers and all of that. Or how can we have our soldiers so incompetent and all of that? When just yesterday we saw that the army recording a report from the defense headquarters showing that the army recorded an amount of success where they had a clash. You know, there was a fire, let's say war, battle, or however we call it, between terrorists and the military, where we saw 6 soldiers dying. However, there was a success of killing over 30 terrorists and all of that. And then today we are waking up to seeing attacks going on in a military base or a barrack. And then of course there needs to be probe, because we must get answers as Nigerians. What is happening with the army? What is happening with our military? That it has gotten to this point that the terrorists are having a swell day, you know, taking the war to our homes, and then succeeding the military homes or the army homes, out, we'll put it that way.
And no wonder we can see the president saying that, you know what, you need to take the war to them, because
Yes.
I mean, it seems you're relaxed, and that's why they're bringing the war over to you.
True.
So trying to test you and say what will be your retaliation regarding that. But I hope, just like we saw where our chief of defense staff, even the chief of army staff, was saying the fact that, you know what, we are ready to deal with the terrorists this year, and it's too early for us to actually say they won't. They will be unable to. So we are rooting for our army men, and I hope that those who are actually behind it, just like the president said, will be taught a lesson, so that this will serve as a lesson to people or to other groups that are planning. Because just like you said, this only looks like it was well planned. It's not. Are there no CCTV cameras everywhere? Are they not supposed to be well secured? Are they not supposed to be on patrol round the clock for them to be able to sense anything fishy going on? How on earth were we able to lose 6 gallant soldiers to such, I mean, sometimes it makes you feel as if they actually die cowards, but then that's not the case right here.
Yeah.
So we really have to send our condolences, and then we hope that this will be the first and the last. I am truly hoping that we don't lose our soldiers in such an ill manner like this. Now, yesterday we started a conversation regarding our budget, where we saw the Senate, or rather the Joint House, the National Assembly, both the reps and the Senate, complaining about the execution or the implementation of 2024 budget. Now, we know that they're going through certain the 2025 budget, calling on ministries and ministers to defend their project and therefore their budget, of course. And then for those that their budget really didn't sit well, they have to go back and reorganize it again, bring it in a proper way, whatever their ministries would need. I clearly remember we talked about our recurrent expenditure and our capital expenditure and the way it should be. Now we're seeing that one of the ministries that we're being asked questions is that of the Ministry of Finance. And then where we saw that they were being called to actually tell us what actually happened to the money we saved from the removal of fuel subsidy.
Yeah.
This will be the 2nd year. And we are hoping that by now we should have saved something that we can say, you know what, we shouldn't be borrowing left, right, and center, even going to the CBN to see whether we can get the ways and means again to use and all of that. And then we're seeing that the minister is saying, you know what, this question is not for the camera.
Yeah.
We should go closed door, and then I will explain. And of course, just like we started a conversation in the morning, it's more like, what do you want to say that you think is only for the ears of the Senate and not for Nigerians? Because Nigerians need to know. You cannot ask me to be buying a liter at 1.5. I know what it costs me. I can't even get 4 liters. Sometimes you get 4 liters at maybe 6,000, depending on where you are buying it and all of that. And then here you're saying that You don't, because from the body language, of course, it's obvious that Nigerians don't need to know that. The Senate should know that, and then they should do whatever they want to do with the information that will be given to them. But I think this really needs a cross check, because we really need to know what really is the minister hiding, or what is the executive hiding that they do not want Nigerians to know.
I mean, we can use the word of the NNPCL GCEO to say exactly what we should have now in savings, according to first subsidy removal savings. And you rightly said, well, 400 billion naira is being spent every month on paying of subsidy, and now that is out, the first few months we started doing some of the math.
Of course,
400 billion
it.
saved on subsidy removal, and then it's exactly 19 months since subsidy removal was removed, ever after the president's speech, counting the months after. And January, as of December, closing in at 2024 December is 19 months. If I'm to include January 2025, we are at 20. So at 19 months of first subsidy removal and savings in code, we should be having about 7.6 trillion naira in savings. But that is if truly subsidy was removed completely. Why? Because we kept on seeing statements coming from this same finance minister, Wale Edun, that subsidy is technically gone. No wonder he would ask for a closed door session. Because if truly, completely subsidy has been removed, then you can come out to Nigerians and say, yes, we have removed subsidy. Not technically, not mechanically, not whatsoever word you want to use. And this is what we have. But if there are still some backdoor workings that the federal government is trying to hide from Nigerians, then of course he would demand a closed door, because there are information that today, if Nigerians should have access to it, there's going to be war. The country will be set ablaze, because I think Nigerians will feel cheated. Nigerians will feel toyed with, and all of that. So it's not surprising that Wale Edun is asking for a closed door meeting concerning a closed door session concerning subsidy removal savings, because there have never been clarity. Even looking at some of the challenges that the NNPCL had concerning making payments for importing, for bringing, for crude
oil
supply, you will know that there's so much going on, because there's a debt of over $6 billion, and then there's a need for that same amount to be able to bring in crude oil, and the NNPCL for some reason don't have that amount. And we kept on saying, well, if we're saving from subsidy removal, how is this money difficult, or what is all these backlogs, ups and downs, and just chaos around oil supply in the country and all of that. But then the more we have our government treating certain things like that, I don't think we're about to grow or make wave when it comes to our economy as a country, because the government is definitely hiding something we do not know. We can only assume, yes, and speculate, but we don't have the information. But it's important. I think Nigerians need to know. Clean it out, and let Nigerians know, and come out with I mean, it's not done anywhere, because even in good thriving economy, not everything is being out there for the country, because there's a lot of things the government do that the country is not supposed to know, because people have their opinion, believe moral standards, believe practice, and all of that the government have to show the people from and take those important decisions. So in one way, we can sit down and say, you know what, come out, give us all of this, give us that, give us this information. However, there is a level or an amount of information that you can make available to Nigerians for us to understand if this sacrifice we're making of having an inflation that is eating us up, if this sacrifice we are making is worth it and all of that. But I think even that little level of compromise and transparency, we have a government that is not even willing. Then you wonder how big is our corruption? How bad is it for us as a country, as an economy, as an administration that is the Bola Ahmed Tinubu and even past administration concerning spendings, income and expenditure of this country, and even if we're truly saving anything from subsidy removal.
Truly, because just like you said, there's certain information that the government is really shielding its people from. So we just give you what we think you will be able to digest. But I mean, if you wanted to shield this particular information from Nigerians, because I believe this is the opinion of most people out there Nigerians will have, I mean, then you should have been paying the first subsidy on behalf of Nigerians, and then let them not be aware of what is happening. But if you came out outrightly to let them know that we're taking this out, and this is the reason why we're taking it out, I think it will only be fair to Nigerians to know. And just like you clearly stated, I mean, whether it's technically, mechanically, whatever way they're trying to do this, things need to be straightforward. Because we keep going this way, and that is why I brought this the word where I said that, you know what, the problem we're having is that we do not have check and balance. Everybody's doing what they want to do. Nobody's checking to be sure that certain things are being done or not. If not, because I believe that the Minister of Finance should have been asked questions even before the 2025 budget regarding that. You should have been invited to the house to ask, okay, so far so good. Let us know for the first, second quarter, third quarter, how much have we been able to save? Because we're planning to actually borrow. How about the money we've saved here? What are we going to use it for? We're talking about schools here. People need money. We're talking about so many of our capitals that are lying there uncompleted and all of that. So many things that need to be. This morning we saw the issue of even our health sector. Yesterday we saw the issue of AI coming in. So with all of this now, we keep saying we're even backward where other countries are talking about the economy. We are really, really backward. So whatever, I don't know what finally, definitely, I know that this whole interaction took place behind closed doors, but I believe that there are certain things that Nigeria should not feel betrayed eventually, because that is what it seems like. But let's just hope that we'll have this administration, you know, coming out clearly and stating, you know what, this is what is happening. And we just want things to be clear. We just want things. We just don't want them to feel that, see, we're just one of those people that do not need information. Information is life. Yesterday we complained about what's going to happen, communication being very expensive and all of that. So I think that's across. Let's wait and see how everything will turn out to be regarding the defense, and then hopefully ministries will be coming back again to present their budget before, I think by June, that is when maybe the 2025 budget will start rolling out properly. Well, that's how far we can go on the program. Thank you, Rachel, for this. As well, thank you to our viewers and every other person who made this program success. We look forward again to doing this together next week. To have a wonderful weekend ahead.